What shloka are we on? 28 or 29? Twenty-ninth shloka of the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Please repeat after me. अपाने जुह्वति प्राणम् प्राणे पानं तथा परे प्राणापानगतिरुद्ध्वा प्राणायामपरायणाः. So we have been seeing different formats of yajna being performed, different kinds of methods which reunite us. See, each one of these yajnas can also be called as a yoga, that which connects us to the core of our own being. There are some who take to this specific path, which is also called the Ashtanga Yoga. Now, what is Ashtanga Yoga? What does Ashta mean? 8. Anga, limbs, parts or limbs. Yoga, that yoga which has 8 steps or 8 limbs to it. This is also known as the method of Patanjali Yoga. These methods are also called by other names as Hatha Yoga or Kriya Yoga. They all are different names of Patanjali's Yoga Shastra. Of the Shat Darshana, 6 different philosophies that we have under Hinduism, Patanjali's Yoga Shastra is also one of the most prominent ones. The Western business or businesses have oversimplified this Ashtanga Yoga into yoga studios. And I was in, I think, Palo Alto, and I was walking through the downtown there of Palo Alto, you know, those little business streets, and I overheard a Bollywood song, and I said, where is this Bollywood song coming like smack in the middle of a city road? So my ears guided me to that location, and it was yoga being done to Bollywood music. It was a very strange kind of a viewing, you know, from outside the window viewing, hearing yoga music and people swinging in for the yoga. When people use the word yoga, they often, even many of us, whenever somebody says yoga, what comes into our mind? The first thing? The exercises. There was some specific joke there. And now they're like, oh, we don't want to share it. Downward dog. Downward dog is Paschimottanasana, right? Or Halasana. Not Halasana. Then Paschimottanasana? Okay. I met this one of these yoga teachers, and she was telling all these names, and I was trying to give her the Sanskrit names, and her thing was, "Oh, you will learn these names." I said, "Oh, okay, thank you." I was almost like trying to scream in my head, like, "You have to learn these. I don't need to learn those names." So what comes into our mind is the asana, but asana is only the third step. So what are the 8 limbs of this Ashtanga yoga? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Now pranayama is the 4th step, and you are qualified for the 4th step only when you have gone through the first 3 steps. Imagine if a kid were to try to jump to the 4th step, what will happen? The front row will be vacated. If you suddenly try to jump to that high, you fall and your front row will be vacated. You lose your teeth. Similar is this, that there is a overemphasizing or a overemphasis on the yoga and pranayama, but yoga and pranayama will only be beneficial if the first 2 steps are equally taken with that kind of sincerity. Yama and niyama. Yama is the organs of action under control. Niyama, the internal organs controlled. Niyama, as the word says, niyama means regulations. Regulating oneself to lead a disciplined sattvic way of life. And having lived a disciplined sattvic way of life, then evolve into yoga, then perform your pranayama, you will have the best of the results. But these results are not for the byproducts as it is being marketed, because when you see the leaflets of these yoga studios that are popping up, you will find that we also teach pranayama. I don't know how they pronounce it very funny. They don't say pranayama. We also teach breath exercises. The breath exercises will have a benefit only when it is being taught, especially the pranayamic techniques. They are trying to manipulate and gain control and mastery over the neural system and the prana shakti which can be invoked through the sushumna nadi. Sushumna nadi, or the sushumna, I cannot translate it as nerve, so just take the word as nadi there. So sushumna nadi is not a physical one, but it is a very subtle one. And where does it lie? It is in the spinal cord. So this sushumna nadi, which is in the spinal cord, around which there are these chakras, shat chakra, the 6 chakras. And then they even, I've seen boards wherein they teach chakra meditation. So they're talking about these chakras. Kuch to chakra hai in logon ka. So these are actually placed on that sushumna nadi. The base of our physical spinal cord is where the Shakti actually resides. That is in the Mooladhara. And through this pranayamic techniques, that that energy is very powerful, and it has to be raised through that sushumna to reach all the way to the final chakra on the top. It is called the sahasrara. So it has to go through that sushumna nadi. In Charaka Samhita, they have said that in a human body there are about 72,001 nadis. 72,000 of them physiologically can be identified, and they are physical nerves. That one extra is that Sushumna Nadi. Just because we can read English and these pranayamic books are printed in English, I would not suggest you to practice. I would not suggest you to read off of the book and start practicing them, because they are very meticulous steps and they are not to be played around with. You can play as much around with Vedanta, you can play around with Bhakti, you can play around with Karma, but don't play around with the Prana Shakti. Is my warning very clear? Why am I being so specific about it? Because this Shakti which is to be raising in the Sushumna Nadi, if not given good guidance, if it enters into any other Nadi of the system, 72,000 of them, it is like a gushing river suddenly opened up into a canal which cannot hold the flow. What happens to that canal? Overflow is least of our problems. It destroys, devastating effect on the canal itself. And the overflow and the flooding, all those which are living around and the plants and the crops gets destroyed. Sometimes in the north we have these called flash floods. Has anybody witnessed a flash flood? Oh, on YouTube, okay. So you have witnessed. I tell you, next thing to God is Google. Do you know why? By definition, God is Sarvagnya, Sarvavyapi, Sarvantaryami. Now, all three can be applied to Google. Oh, Mata Pita Google Daivam. Okay. I have learnt a new one today. Hey Ram. So when you watch the flash floods happening, you will see the kind of impact that they actually erode, and stones and boulders which are so huge, and they are rolling as if somebody is just with a tip of their finger, they're just rolling it. It flows with such ease. Imagine that kind of a flow channelized into one small little canal. So that is what happens internally, that medically when you take them to the doctors, MRI and other scans that you can perform, you will be declared medically fit. But the one going through that pain alone understands how unbearable it is. So that entire energy has to be retraced back and then rechannelized. Therefore, do not attempt on this unnecessarily if there is no proper guru and guidance. Again, I am asking, am I clear?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Oh, definitely not. I wouldn't trust these Bollywood dance music and chakra yoga together. Come on. We coming from India should know at least that much. अपने ही माल अपने को बेच रहे हैं और पता भी नहीं चल रहा है, कुछ तो शर्म करो यार. No, I know what you're saying. I say don't fall for it. So here, let me explain the subtlety of that prana yoga that people perform. It is the balance between prana and apana. Pranapana gati rudhva pranayama parayana. How do you get that balance? By different techniques of balancing between prana and apana. What is prana? Prana is the air that you breathe in. I am putting it in a very simple term. What is apana? Apana is the air that you breathe out. There are different kinds of things that are exhausted through the body, and that functionality is also apana. But we are not going into those details right now. Prana is the air that is taken in, apana that which is breathed out. To create a balance between prana and apana. So while performing the pranayama, there are 4 major steps. What are the 4 major steps? The inhalation is called puraka. Exhalation is called rechaka. Puraka, rechaka. Now the air can be stopped. The breathing can be regulated and stopped in 2 different intervals. One outside and one inside. Stopping that air, stopping that breath is called kumbhaka. When done inside, when you breathe in and hold the breath inside, that is called antar kumbhaka. When you breathe out and hold the breath outside, it is called bahi kumbhaka. Bahihi kumbhaka. So with the modulation of these 4, combination of modulation between these 4, you create that balance between prana and apana. Where is the seat of apana? The seat of apana is down below the navel. Where is the seat of prana? It is in the between the nostrils and the chest. So just to give you a visualistic idea, to bring that apana from down and the prana from up to a balance, they start with the anahata chakra, which is at the heart chakra. So at the heart chakra, you balance both apana and prana. And from there, you raise that energy and take it, guide it all the way to Sahasrara. So this in short is the pranayama yoga. Swamiji, can you teach that to us? No, here once somebody asked Gurudev, I believe after this chapter, Swamiji, why don't we include teaching yogasanas and pranayama in Chinmaya mission? So he, in his own style, he said, I believe more in straightening the mind than twisting the body. And that is his funny way of putting it, not belittling that system. He said, my focus is on the Vedanta Tattva. You have to find a guru who can teach you the yogasana and pranayama. The best I would suggest is that which is most traditional, that which has a lineage of tradition. Please acquire such tradition alone rather than jumping into heat yoga. There is a heat yoga, right? No, I'm not advertising for them. She's like, oh, heat yoga, I did not go there. That is not a traditional one. Though it is trademarked and what do you call? Copyrighted. Thank you. So this is about pranayama. This much I think should be sufficient. Let us proceed further. Apare niyataharaha प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदः यज्ञक्षपितकल्मषाः In the word yajna, because just yesterday I met somebody who wrote, her name is Pragnya, but the way the spelling that she was spelling it, she was writing it as Pradya. It was like Pradnya. So I said, "Ye kya spelling hai? What is this spelling?" She was like, "This is the correct spelling, Swamiji." She said. That is where I am. Do you know how this word letter Gnya is formed? He is not wrong. There's somebody else here also said J. Ja, if you have on your smartphones, you can download different typesets, and if you have a Hindi typeset, and you can check it out. Ja with halanta, with a little tail underneath, and add the nasal sound of cha varga, cha, cha, ja, jha, yeah, however you pronounce it. There are ini to agnya, many kinds of pronunciations that people say. That nasal sound of the cha varga. You add this ja with halanta, with that nasal sound, what forms is gnya. Therefore, Gurudev, when he used to write Jnana Yajna, he would always spell it as Jnana. He would say G, not G, J N, Jnana, right? Jyana, Jnana Yajna. Jyna. Jnyana. Thank you. It is not Gya, it is Jnana. So Jnyana. Jnana Yajna. It has that a very subtle ja involved. So it has to start with that Jna. Okay, enough of Sanskrit. I don't know why I'm focusing today so much on Sanskritam. I've been speaking on Sanskritam only since morning. Anyway, focus. Apare niyata haraha pranan praneshu juhvati. Sarve pyete yajna vidaha. So there are others who do austerities while performing their pranayama. They do austerities like fasting. How many of you fast? So the rest of you don't fast? You're my kind. Lunch ke pehle is break. Meaning you don't even have a cup of coffee or anything in between. No. Then you are very disciplined. If you have only meals at that given time, then you are disciplined. You are doing a good job. Why do we do fasting? Okay. I have funny, good answers. Yes, sir. My mom told me to. Huh? Oh, fight at home, therefore fasting. You are forced to fast or she fasted? Oh, planned fasting, unplanned fasting, forced fasting. I didn't know there are these many kinds. Okay, आप क्या बोल रही थी? Give some rest to the stomach. Not eating food and prayers, there's some link should be created, right? You wait till you complete your puja and fast till then. Any other? To practice some self-control. Amma made one good statement there, good word. Fasting in Sanskritam is called upavasa. So when you go to the root word, you would understand the purpose behind it. Like, marriages. Marriage in Sanskritam, what are the words for marriage? Vivaha, parinaya. Kannadadalli. I am asking Sanskritadalli. Kalyana, Vivaha, Parinaya, Kalyana. So look at the root words which have been used. Coming together for the greatest auspicious experience. Therefore, Kalyana. I am a responsible person, both of them, husband and wife, when they take the vows. So, we are responsible and we are coming together. Vaha. Vaha is to flow. Vaha is to move forward. And that is the root word for Vahana. I am not talking of Vaha. I am talking of Vaha is in taking you forward. So coming together so that we can together bring our resources and assets that we can move forward. I don't know if you were given these definitions when you were getting married or in between till now. So I am trying to take you back to the root. That bhaiya, purpose of marriage is this. See, I have only one answer to that. Either you correct it now, or until you correct, you will be paired up for next few lives. छिड़क नहीं रहा हूं मैं, पूरा रब कर रहा हूं और मिर्ची के साथ. So wherever there is some process, if you go to that word that indicates in Sanskritam and understand the root there, the purpose of it is very beautifully denoted. Similarly, when we say fasting, what is the root word? Upavasa. Upavasa can be broken into two parts, upa and vasa. Vasa meaning to dwell or to live by. Upa, closest. The purpose of upavasa is to elevate the mind closest to the God. But if the upavasa is that if there are people who do Monday upvas and they also do nirjala upvas. My definition, my funny way of definition of nirjala upvas is they don't eat anything that is burnt. Nirjala. Now, what they mean by nirjala is they don't even take a sip of water. But they prepare for this particular upavasa on Monday from Sunday. The whole of tomorrow I am not going to eat, therefore stuff it in. Why? Tomorrow is tough. So today is tough. And how do you break that upavasa? It is more dangerous a meal than your regular meal. खतरनाक meal होता है. Upavasa meal has to be light. But then the upavasa, they say that they'll have some kind of a vague rule. क्योंकि मम्मी बोली थी, right? Because mummy did it, therefore, no grains. So you will have medu vada, you will have masala vada, you will have bolo yaar, sabudana khichdi, sabudana pakoda, and little payasam which was offered to the Lord, naivedya, therefore that payasam. By the time it is done, it is like it's more elaborate than your regular meal. It has to be broken, and it has to be broken with light diet. Mitahara. Even that falahara has to be mitahara. It cannot be like 20 plantains and like I am going to fast or I am fasted yesterday. He is dangerous. I think there is something with that side of the hall that even in my second session there is one guy who sits right there, and sometimes he shifts it to this corner. There's something in these two corners. Whoever sits there. So his example of one fruit is jackfruit. I eat only one fruit, jackfruit. It has to be mitahara. Do you know what is the Sanskrit word for breakfast? The first time I heard it, I was like, this is a Sanskrit word. Nashta. It is Sanskrit. Ashata, ashana is hunger. Ashata is na ashatavat. Like you break the fast with light, energetic food. So they prescribe fruits and nuts. Unlike the, what is the rule here? King size breakfast is unhealthy according to Charaka Samhita. So nashta is the word for it. I thought, until I read it in Bhagavatam for the first time, I thought nashta was more of a Hindi word. And even I had imagined that it was Urdu. Yes, snacks. But it is light diet, na ashatavat iti. So you have to break that fast, and the purpose of the fast is elevate the mind closest to the God. Now, many mothers sitting here would agree with me that when you are taking a vrata or some kind of a festivity, most of the times, what are you busy in? Cooking, chopping, cleaning. Breakfast done, already ready for preparing lunch. Lunch done, already preparing for snacks. And the snacks are just the, what is that? Not dry cleaner. No, the machine you store where you clean your utensils. Dishwasher. So the I had dry cleaning. So the dishwasher, yeah, it actually dry cleans them, like, cleans them dry. So, come on. So that has just gotten over the cycle, then you prepare for your dinner. They said, pull your mind off of this mechanical rut of spending so much of time on that, and physiologically as well, that the body needs a jump start to cleanse itself once in a while. And for God's sake, don't do it on a regular basis. There are people who do it Monday for Shivji, Tuesday for Hanumanji, Wednesday for that Ji, this day for that Ji. When do you eat? That is not unhealthy. So they said, pick a day in the week and pick at least once a month. Once a month on the Ekadashi and things like that, pick one day. It is not to be done on a regular basis. You don't jumpstart, then there is something wrong with the system. If you have to have a jumper cable and constantly wait for some other car to jumpstart your vehicle, there's something seriously wrong. You're actually abusing the system. It is to be sparsely used, and the purpose of it is to elevate the mind to get closest to that Lord. Now understand your own physiology yourself. There are some who get extreme acidity or migraines when they cannot eat, when food doesn't come at right time, they get extreme migraines. Fasting is not for such kind of people. If you develop acidity, Bhagwan samajhdar hai. God understands. Oh no, I have already taken a vow. If I don't fulfill the vow, I'll have repercussions of it. He is not a mean bargainer waiting there. नहीं किया, बैंड बजेगा तेरा. No.
That's why he has fast food.
He doesn't have it. You have it. Do you know what is the other name for fast food? Junk food. I'm yet to ascertain the meaning of junk food. I'm trying to find the root word there too. It is the food is junk or the one who is eating is junk. I'm yet to ascertain that. The reset has to be in such a way that it helps you reach closer to the Lord. That is the purpose. And to talk in your today modern terminology, it also helps in detoxifying yourself. It's a good detox technique. And don't detox daily. Because you add toxins to detox, right? Otherwise, you'll be draining the system. So use this sparsely, but the purpose of this is to take our minds closest to the abode of divine. So some take that path as well. But the purpose of all these paths is yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Performing these different yogas and yajnas is to purify oneself and strengthen oneself from within, that we can face our life, our experiences with courage, understanding and firmness. That is the purpose of these yajnas. Moving forward. Yajna sishtamrita bhujaha yanti brahma sanatanam nayam lokostya yajnasya kutonyah kuru sattama. So there are different aspects of yajna that have been explained. That when a yajna is performed, it is to understand that it is that we as an individual, I am going back all the way to the 20th and 21st shloka, where before Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, that shloka, the word yajna was used. There we discussed what is the yajna attitude of karma. The yajna attitude of karma is to function in this world with the attitude of gratitude. Why? We may claim that we are independent human beings, we are independent of anything around us, but the sooner we realize, understand and appreciate that we are not and we cannot be independent, but we are interdependent. There are so many who have to put in effort in various realms for us to have what we have seamlessly to have. In this congregation, let me ask, have you ever worked in a field, kheti badi? Has anybody worked in a farmland? I'm not talking your backyard gardening. That ain't farmland. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Have you milked cows? Oh, you have also. Good, good. Have you had? Okay, you have also. Good. You have? Huh? No, I'm asking Ramesh. I know you grew up here, but you have milked a cow? Ah. And I'm not stretching it now. I have though. So when you like, don't tell this to your children, okay? Whatever I'm telling. I was probably in 7th grade, and that particular year, I don't know why, but my mischief had gone so haywire that I was suspended 3 times that year. And my father had gotten so frustrated with me. He said that, no point giving you education. I'll take you back to village. At least you will learn. By the time you become a man, you will learn farming, and you will be a good helping hand to your grandfather. And he dropped me off in the village, and the entire village wrote a letter to my father just in 3 months that isko wapas le jao. He's enough embarrassed here, please take him back. But those 3 months, my grandfather did not spare the rod. He put me directly day one, waking up morning 5 o'clock, which I had never seen. So I had to wake up in the morning, take that cold water shower, and that too you have to draw that water from the well, take that shower, and pack your you cannot call it, as there is no breakfast there. There is a brunch kind of a heavy set, jawar or ragi or something made out of that, a bundle of it for himself, myself, and couple of others, and go and it is such a back-breaking job. And those who have worked in the farm fields, have you ever used a plow? I'm not talking of the tractor. It is so tough. I was 13 years or something, and the third day he put me on the plow. He said, go, start plowing. And that is when I understood to rein in those 2 bulls and then stand on that plow and to dig it in so deep and balance it and not irritate the bulls by allowing this plow hitting them. Otherwise, they have a good kickstart. That is when I understood kickstart. Rear and kickstart. I have had that also. I have busted my job once with that. And it was like, bleeding. And he just puts in a plaster and says, ja, fir se. And that is when I realized that how much effort they put. And after having put such effort, untimely rains, they've just had their crops cut. The produce has to be, the grains have to be taken out. And it suddenly starts raining for 3, 4, 5 days continuously, downpour. The entire effort put for those 4, 5 months down the drain. Now, when I listen to the news and other things, when I see such things happen, I exactly know how bad the farmer feels. And from such efforts, the grains and produce and everything comes to our table. It is not that we are independent. That person has put in so much of sweat and effort in it for us to have this. We may claim, I'm paying for it. But still, it is not anything comparable to the efforts put by that individual. Cloth. Or the next example that I can take is, how many of you have a dining room with a beautiful dining table and the chair, dining table and chair set? Everybody has it. How many times in a year do we use it? And that also is zero. You said zero first. Somebody must have cut the wood, somebody carves it, somebody assembles it and creates. And we are not talking about the IKEA ones. Those centerpieces that you really buy are so heavy and never use it. We almost never use it. But there is somebody who has put such hard effort in making it a possibility that you can put or swipe your card and it is ready, delivered for you and assembled for you. But somebody has logged for it. So every aspect of our life, there is only to be recognizing how much gratitude we have to show towards everything, every aspect around. That is one aspect of Yajna Bhava Karma, interdependence. And we are not complete individuals. We are not having all resources, all talents, all skills put together in one person. We have to assemble ourselves in such a way that your skills and my skills and various talents come together to create an effort into a possibility. And when with such efforts the results come and you have put your heart and soul in it, when you see the final product, you don't even need to wait for somebody to appreciate it. There is such deep sense of satisfaction. So that is what is being talked about here. Yajna sishtaha mrita bhujaha amrita bhujaha yanti brahma sanatanam. You gain immense peace and tripti, contentment. I was in Michigan. I was staying at somebody's house, and their 11-year-old suddenly knocks on my door, and he pulls me directly into the I thought he was taking me to show some TV or his game or something, but he takes me into the toilet, bathroom toilet, and then he squats on the floor, sits down, and looking at me. How does it look? I said, where is he going with it? So I also kneeled down. I said, kya hua? He said, isn't it looking clean? I put last half an hour in cleaning this. And you should see the beaming joy on that kid's face. He was not even looking for a compliment from me. That was not the purpose. You could see it. He was just satisfied with his own job. That he had put in an amazing effort and it turned out good. And he was satisfied and he wanted to share that satisfaction, that moment of satisfaction. It is not how big or glorious a job, whatever be the job, when done with complete intention and intensity, there is instant tripti in it. Sometimes we ruin our own contentment by anticipating a pat on our back. I do so much, nobody recognizes. What is the use of all these things when nobody recognizes? You get even that kid understood. He's also laughing at us. We don't need to ruin such a sacred moment of satisfaction by putting ourselves, setting up ourselves being smashed by our own anticipations. And then he says here, Nayam lokaha asti ayajnasya. And if somebody does not perform actions with this kind of mindset, such people do not know what contentment and peace of mind actually means. So what do we need to do if we need to have peace? I've defined what the spelling of peace is in this class, right? P-E-A-C. Have I told you that or not? I must have said. So my dad was working in Chennai, and right across our apartment complex, I must have said this. So right across our apartment complex, there was an open ground, and there was this Christian group which would conduct their sermons, and there would be one English speaker, and there would be a translator into that native language. Here in this case, it was in Tamil, and it would be quite a energetic platform that the English speaker would be speaking in the highest tone and highest volume into the mic, very dramatically said, and the Tamil translator would also emulate the same thing at the same pitch, same tone, same volume, but in Tamil. For me, it was quite entertaining to stand in the balcony and watch. So this English guy, he starts, and this was in KK Nagar, if you know Tamil Nadu, Chennai. So this English sermon in English, he says, today is a blessed day. To match him, he translates in Tamil. And he says, Jesus was a great man. And the Tamil translation, Jesus was Mahan Purusha. And he goes on, and then he says, Jesus loves peace. And the Tamil translation, he says, Jesus ki pachi patani pidikum. What is pachi patani is like the snap bean, what do you call it? Green peas or the snap peas. So Jesus loves snap peas is the translation. So that is why I'm asking, when I say that you will have experienced that peace, do you know which peace I'm talking about? Yes. Adu puriyum. Adu theriyum. So we are talking of mental peace, wherein we don't have agitations, wherein we are not flogging ourselves with our own agitations, and we can stand above these and gain that satisfaction, contentment, and peace within. This would be the method. We'll continue next week. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.